Okay, so what if I told you that a single video game, one based on a franchise that first got big almost 40 years ago, just flew past 10 million copies sold worldwide? I have to admit, when I first saw that number, I was genuinely shocked. We're talking about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. That's not just a commercial success. It's a massive cultural indicator.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
10 million copies, that's the kind of number you usually see with, brand new groundbreaking IPs, or maybe the big annual sports games.
Right.
So for a game that is, for the most part, retelling a saga we all know pretty well.
The classic Dragon Ball Z arcs.
Exactly. For that, to get this kind of global adoption on so many platforms, it just puts the sheer power of the franchise into a really incredible perspective. It proves that Goku's story isn't just resonant. It's a perpetual money-making machine.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the deep dive today isn't just about celebrating that number, though we're definitely going to do that. Our mission is kind of twofold, and it's really critical for understanding this whole thing. First, we need to get into the immediate fallout of the celebration, specifically the really smart and kind of surprising release of some major new content. And second, we are absolutely going to trace the legacy of the Dragon Ball saga itself. We have to figure out why this particular game clicked so well with so many people.
We're basically dissecting how you manage an IP that's been around for decades. We're looking at the huge sales win and the new DLC, and then connecting it all the way back to the foundation that Akira Toriyama built.
It's all about balancing that nostalgia with innovation.
Right. It's a perfect case study. So let's start right there with that huge attention-grabbing number.
The big number, 10 million. Bandai Namco hits this incredible milestone with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And they didn't just, quietly update a press release. They turned it into a whole event for the fans.
Oh yeah, they leveraged the moment perfectly. Instead of just a simple announcement, they dropped this riveting commemorative video. And it wasn't just like flashing sales figures on the screen. It was this really well-made montage. It took players right back through the most iconic, the most emotional moments in the game.
The big historical beats.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that feeling of finally beating Frieza on Namek, or the tension of the Cell games. That video was a direct thank you to the players who got them to that 10 million number, you know, by honoring their achievements in the game.
And this is where the strategy pivots. It goes from celebration to forward momentum. Because while Bandai Namco was celebrating the past, they used that exact same moment to drop a serious content bomb.
This is just fascinating from a marketing perspective. We are talking about the next big chapter in their DLC saga, the release of DAIMA, Through the Demon Realm Part 2.
Now, the key detail here, the thing that makes this a strategic masterstroke, is all about the timing. If you are following the roadmaps, this DLC was originally announced with a much later, pretty vague, early 2026 release date.
Right.
But the sources confirm that this content is available now. They basically released it as an immediate reward for hitting that 10 million milestone.
And that creates this incredible feedback loop. It just solidifies the game's longevity. Sales milestones are great, they generate hype, but when you deliver new content instantly, you capture all that hype and you funnel it right back into player engagement.
It's brilliant.
It's a super effective way to reward the players you have, bring back the ones who might have drifted away, and pull in new buyers who are maybe on the fence. It makes sure those power levels, to use the lingo, are kept at an all-time high. You give players something real to do the second they hear the good news.
It also gives us a huge clue about why Kakarot was so successful in the first place, which is something we said we needed to dive into. 10 million is huge, especially for what's mainly a retelling. But Kakarot isn't a traditional fighting game like Fighter Z or Budokai. It's an action RPG.
And that genre choice it's just a critical piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Fighting games are amazing, but they often appeal to a more dedicated, high-skill niche.
Yeah, a competitive scene.
Right. But an action RPG, that opens the doors to millions of fans who love the story, who love the world, but aren't necessarily into competitive fighting games. Kakarot lets you focus on the emotional journey, the exploration, the little side quests with classic characters.
Farmer with a shotgun.
Farmer with a shotgun, exactly. And the whole growth mechanic. It let them translate the experience of watching Dragon Ball Z. The journey, the training, that sense of getting stronger into something you could play, not just the fights themselves.
So it's about embodying Goku, not just controlling him in an arena.
Precisely. The narrative immersion is everything. And that structural choice let them capture that massive mainstream audience, the people who just love the IP. That's how you get to 10 million sales.
And that leads us perfectly into the other strategic pillar holding up that number: accessibility. If you, the listener, are sitting there thinking, okay, 10 million is a lot, maybe I should check this game out, Bandai Namco has basically made it impossible for you not to find a copy.
The platform availability is a non-negotiable part of hitting a number that big. I mean, in today's fragmented market, making your game exclusive can just crush its potential. Kakarot sidestepped that completely.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The sheer platform dominance, they covered every single base. We're talking PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, the Nintendo Switch, and PC. There is really no excuse, technical or otherwise, not to be able to play this adventure.
And if we look at the big picture here, that multi-platform strategy, it wasn't cheap. That's a huge technical job. It takes a major investment to scale a game engine and optimize it for 6 very different systems.
From the PS5 all the way to the Switch.
Yeah, from high-end consoles to the portable Switch. So the real strategy wasn't just more platforms means more sales. It was that Bandai Namco knew the IP was strong enough to justify that massive technical investment. They knew it was the only way to reach that full 10 million plus global audience.
It's a textbook example, isn't it?
It is. The Switch version gets you the portable market, especially in Japan. The PC version gets you the modding community and the graphics purists. And the PS5 and Xbox versions capture the core console players. By putting this adventure everywhere, they just removed all the barriers to entry.
Makes perfect sense. The scope of the game is huge, but getting your hands on it is easy. But to really truly understand why a franchise from the 80s can still pull these numbers, and why we're getting DAIMA content now, we have to go back to the very beginning, to the deep roots of the Dragon Ball saga itself.
We're talking about the genesis of a true cultural phenomena. The foundation of this entire billion-dollar ecosystem was laid by one man, the legendary creator Akira Toriyama.
The story starts way, way back. The original Dragon Ball manga, the comic book that kicked it all off, was serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump. And for anyone who might not know, Weekly Shonen Jump is, it's the magazine that basically defined the whole shonen genre for the last 40 years.
That placement alone gave Toriyama this instant, massive audience in Japan. And this wasn't some short series. The original manga ran for over a decade, from 1984 all the way to 1995.
Just think about that. A weekly story for 11 straight years.
The level of creative commitment is just mind-boggling.
And that long run allowed him to meticulously build this world, this cast of characters, Goku, Bulma, Piccolo, Vegeta, that everyone immediately recognized and fell in love with. He basically established the visual language, the archetypes, the tropes that so much modern action media is built on.
And what's so fascinating is how foundational that influence was. Toriyama essentially cemented the formula for a successful shonen series. The importance of training, the escalating villains, the dramatic physical transformation.
The power-up sequence.
The power-up sequence that everyone now knows and expects. Those elements are the absolute bedrock of the franchise's appeal, whether you're watching the anime or you're playing Kakarot.
So that work provided the bedrock. But the reason the legacy is still so strong today, the reason it can support a 10 million seller like Kakarot, is because of really smart, aggressive, modern distribution. It's on every format.
Absolutely. The manga itself is kept alive by publishers like VIZ Media, who release the English translations, so anyone, anywhere can easily read the original adventures of Goku and his friends. It keeps the history totally accessible.
And then you have the anime side, which is what most of the world really knows the franchise for, thanks to that huge boom in the 90s and 2000s. And Crunchyroll has been absolutely key there, offering full streaming access to everything. The entire animated universe is right at your fingertips.
And when you say the wealth of content, it's worth listing what that actually means. It's not just the original Dragon Ball anime. You also get the sequels and spin-offs. Dragon Ball Z, the more controversial Dragon Ball GT.
Still essential viewing, though.
Still essential, yes. And, of course, the modern continuation, Dragon Ball Super.
And, crucially, the sources also point to the recently introduced Dragon Ball DAIMA, which ties us right back to that new DLC we were just talking about, DAIMA, through the Demon Realm Part 2. It's the perfect example of synergy. The old stories support the games get people interested in the old stories, and new stuff like DAIMA pushes the whole narrative forward. It's not just living in the past.
That continuous reinforcement across manga, streaming, and high-quality games like this, that is the real secret to its longevity. It creates this constant pipeline for engagement. An old fan can revisit DBZ through Kakarot, and a new viewer can discover Dragon Ball Super for the first time. The franchise is always inviting you in. It's just a marvel of modern media management. It keeps the universe feeling alive, ongoing, and, well, financially dominant.
It truly is an incredible case study, and we dove deep into the source material you shared, and it paints a picture of a franchise that manages its nostalgia not as a crutch, but as a strategic asset.
A true success story where the amazing source material and smart business strategy are equally responsible for these massive numbers.
So what does this all mean? Well, it means you're now fully up to speed on the current state and the strategic thinking behind one of the world's biggest entertainment properties. We've laid out the huge success of the game, that 10 million copies sold number, and how it was driven by that action RPG choice and the multi-platform release. And we've mapped out the foundational history that Akira Toriyama created that makes it all possible, including the immediate launch of the new DAIMA, through the Demon Realm Part 2 content.
Right. And while the commercial success is one thing, the real core challenge is managing all that history. I mean, think about the sheer volume of it all, from the 1984 manga, all the sequels, the spin-offs, and now this new DAIMA stuff. It really raises an important question for any huge, long-running franchise. What is the secret to balancing that deep respect for the original beloved roots of your characters, while also evolving the story and the style enough to bring in whole new generations of fans? That balance, that's the real Super Saiyan test. It's the key to sustained cultural relevance.
That truly is the ultimate transformation. Thank you for sharing your sources and letting us unpack this incredible saga. We hope you continue your own exploration into the demon realm and beyond.